Well, welcome in everybody to the Bitcoin Crypto Weekly Close. It is a critical week indeed. Did you like my enthusiasm to start the live stream out with? Thumbs up, everyone. But in all seriousness, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel. You know, there is a lot going on. By the way, you can give me a follow on Twitter. You can give me a follow on YouTube, TradingView, as well as Instagram at Crypto Bull Gods. So very, very much a lot going on. A lot going on right now. A lot of volatility in the markets. You know, I came out earlier this week and said, you know, with what's been going on with FTX, this is, in my mind, the true definition of a black swan event. These are things that, you know, you can't account for when you're charting, but at the same time, the chart does tell all. So however price action is playing out, that's what is the most important thing to pay attention to. And, you know, I am going to, just as a reminder, I'm going to be putting out a video this week with what I believe, from an investor perspective, really the number one chart that you want to be keeping an eye on for Bitcoin. So watch for a video to come out later this week on that. But for now, what I want to do in today's live stream, what I'd like to take the opportunity to do, walk through a few key charts. And so we're going to X out of this. Don't need any of that. We're going to walk through a few key charts. And I'm not going to walk through as many charts as I typically do, just a few key ones here that are up here that you can see. And then I'm going to allow room for TNA. I'm going to allow room for TNA. Wow! On this live stream, anything can happen. I just said I'm going to allow plenty of opportunity for TNA. No titties and ass on this channel. I'm keeping that close to the hip here. No, I'm going to allow plenty of. This is what happens when you go live. I'm going to allow plenty of opportunity for TAQ&A. Any charts that I don't cover, anything that you guys want me to go over, as I typically do on this live stream. And this is honestly, this is the most fun for me. The funnest part of this live stream is just engaging with everyone. What's up, Steady? DXY does look terrible. We're going to get into that. I'm going to kind of connect the dots in terms of what I'm thinking. And as always, just keep in mind, whatever I'm walking through here, this is very important to keep in mind, especially if you're new to this channel. For everyone who's been here in the community for a while, you know this, but, you know, as out there as I can be with some of my corny humor, you know, that is separate from the logic I'm displaying when I'm reading a chart, right? I'm always going to be honest and genuine and authentic in terms of what I see in the charts, no matter how bullish I am on crypto. Couple things that I want to point out. This is the weekly, right? What I had indicated, if you caught my most recent published video, which was yesterday, taking a look at bullish divergence in the Bitcoin chart, multiple time frames, and I spoke to the historical bullish divergence that was taking place, in particular on the 3-day chart, okay? One of the things that I indicated in that video was what we really wanted to see, which seemed unlikely as of yesterday, and I said, but anything's possible in crypto. I really wanted to see a close at or above 17,600, because if we saw a close on the weekly candle at or above 17,600, that would leave me feeling relatively confident that even though there'd be downside volatility, that our bottom could more possibly be in by doing that. There'd be a higher likelihood versus if it closed below 17,600. Guys, we're closing below 17,600, okay? So what that tells me is that the probabilities have increased that we're still due some sort of capitulation, whether we get a fake out and we go $100 below, or whether we wick down, you know, further into the $14,000 range, which I've been on record saying I did not see happening. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Keep in mind, there's nothing that the chart is guaranteeing us, okay? There are no definitive answers that I can provide you. Every single thing that I do it's the same thing as a mathematician. It's the same thing as a data scientist, you know, as a technician. I'm allowing the chart to speak for me. It shows a picture. I'm interpreting the picture, and based on what's being presented, okay, there are probabilities in upwards and downwards direction. So with that in mind, what I'm stating to you is that the probabilities have increased now that we know we're going to close below 17,600, that there is further downside, okay? It's just something we have to keep an eye on. Now, what would the level be? So if we had some sort of capitulation event that has yet to occur, even though it certainly has felt and looked like capitulation on many charts, everyone is talking about 14,000, right? Everyone's talking about 14,000. Maybe we can go on a monthly chart, because actually 14,000 is not the target I'm looking at. If we really got some sort of wick down, yeah. So I'm looking at a monthly chart right now, and I'm doing this on the spot with you guys, by the way. I did not do this before the live stream here. So really, let me go on a 2-week. This isn't working out as nicely as I thought. I was looking at something. Let's go back to the weekly. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. There was a level I was looking at, and now I can't find it. I don't know what time frame I was looking at. But basically, if we go to a weekly, you can see here. I mean, you can see. I want you to keep in mind how I'm charting these lines, okay? This is very important to keep in mind. Some people will talk about 14,000 because of the wick up here. You see this price wick right here? But what are price wicks? Price wicks are a temporary price movement which doesn't sustain itself and which represents volatility, okay? The candle bodies are the most important thing to keep in mind when you are charting areas of support and resistance, okay? So if I were to chart an area of support here, I would draw it more like at 11,500, okay? And you could even draw it upwards of 12,000, okay? Remember, there's regions, there's not specific areas of support, which is the most important thing. So right around 11,500, okay? Other areas, you can see some price confluence even right in here. So as much as people are talking about 14,000, I mean, really an area that looks a lot more, I mean, if we're going to get some serious downside, okay, and I'm not saying we are, but if we're really going to get some serious downside because the probabilities have increased for that, okay, what this suggests to me, what this chart suggests to me is that we're not going to stop at 14,000. We come down to 12,500, 11,500, and I believe if that would happen, it would invalidate the Elliott structure, which still has a fifth wave to play out. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an expert at Elliott wave technician. I'm sure there are some Elliott waves perhaps which don't invalidate the pattern, that perhaps enter the wave one top, but I don't know, because then we'd be entering into levels where the wave one movement had topped out. But again, I don't want to give an opinion on that because I have a solid understanding of Elliott wave analysis, but I'm not an expert in Elliott wave analysis, and I don't know all the various ins and outs, the intricacies of invalidating the pattern versus a rare situation that maybe the pattern is still valid. So I would look to others whose opinions I respect that understand Elliott wave analysis. But I do believe others such, I believe Credible Crypto, I think he actually had commented what would invalidate the Elliott wave structure. I thought he said an area around 14,000. So again, we'll have to see how this plays out. I want to stress to everyone, nothing that's going on right now guarantees anything. It's just that probabilities have swung more towards the bear's favor. I will say this, just from a market sentiment perspective, I think everyone calling for these low levels down to 14 or 13 or 12 or 10,000, it feels very similar to me when people back in 2021, including myself, were calling for 100,000 plus Bitcoin, okay, and it never happened. There's so much seeming certainty in the market right now and so much pessimism. I thought we were at peak fear and pessimism back here, but evidently there's one more capitulation event that has yet to play out. But we are in such fear, and people are, I mean, a lot of people just don't know what's going on and where things are headed. But I just, I want to take a moment just to interject logic here, okay? While the events that have unfolded with FTX are certainly disgusting, and there's going to be more facts that come out. It doesn't change all the years and years and years and years of chart data that exists in all these charts, most predominantly Bitcoin. It doesn't change anything fundamentally that's being built, that has been being built, and many solid projects over these last several years. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture here. My greatest fear for anyone in this market right now, I'll tell you what my greatest fear would be. My greatest fear for anyone in this market right now is not to be in the market. It's to make a conscious decision not to have any exposure to the market or get out of it and say this is too much. That would be my greatest fear, because there's nothing that has unfolded that has changed my view in terms of the long-term prospects of crypto. What is going to play out, I'll tell you more than likely exactly what's going to play out. And it's what my next video is going to get into. Depending how this one chart looks by a certain time period, what that's going to do is it's going to increase or decrease the probabilities that we're going to see a sustained recovery going into 2023, which is my main hypothesis, what I've been saying, right? I put out a video several weeks back about Bitcoin, in my view, hitting 100,000 plus in 2023, right? The fifth Elliott wave. But this one chart is really going to, there's no one chart or one indicator that tells us with 100% certainty anything. But this chart that I'm going to speak to, it's very simple, it's very simplistic, and it's going to tell us, how confident we can feel that we really are going to see that sort of movement, or how confident we can feel that we're not, and we're going to see sustained choppy action under 20,000 for an extended period of time. So look for that video, but let's kind of focus on how some of these weekly closes look. So this isn't good to see. I'm not happy to see this, okay? We're closing below 17,600. The other thing that we have to start talking about now, because I will say in the next couple weeks, and this plays into the next video that I'm going to be speaking to, in the next couple weeks, we better see for bulls, we better see a strong move up. Because if we see stagnation in these levels, it's not a good sign for the short to medium term, okay? Long term, again, I want to stress this. Long term, no concerns whatsoever. But it's more the timing of things. I've continued to hit on this week, the timing of things. The short to mid-term. As confident and as good and solid as I feel about the analysis that I have provided you guys over the course of the past, say, 6 or 7 months, 8 months on this correction, as solid as I feel, as logical as I've been to state my conviction in terms of where the market is headed next year, absolutely I could be wrong. I could be proven to be wrong and things could play out differently. But for the moment, nothing has been, this is an important point I haven't hit on. Nothing has been invalidated within the broader market to leave me feeling that next year won't be different from what I've shared with you guys in general speak, okay? Nothing yet has invalidated itself in the chart. So I do want to point that out. Now, the other thing I want to speak to here is, I had this drawn on the weekly that we had a little bit of a falling wedge here, okay? We'd really be stretching in my opinion, we could still draw a technical, okay? We actually could, even if we closed at the current price level, we could actually try to finagle this pattern a bit. Actually, we'd have to close a little bit higher, where we could still sort of draw a falling wedge, but I think at that point, we'll have to see where we close today. I think we're trying to create, in this case, a picture that may not be there, okay? We don't want to bias our view. What I liked about my original view here of the falling wedge, had we closed differently, is you can see we have a touch here and multiple touches here, and then we had another touch here, but we've invalidated that, okay? So I'm not saying that a falling wedge couldn't still play out here, but I think we're stretching it a bit. The thing I would actually pay attention to on this chart, thumbs up everyone, appreciate it for everyone new. The thing I would more so pay attention to in this chart, let's remove this target here, okay? It's the bullish divergence. Now, I just put out a video yesterday where I spent like 10 minutes going into why the bullish divergence on the Bitcoin chart is at historic levels, okay, and in particular on the 3-day chart. We're actually looking at the weekly right now. So the thing to pay attention to is, okay, I wouldn't, if you're don't fixate on this. Hold on. Don't fixate on this line being below here. The fact is, we're still building higher highs in the RSI as prices going down, right? If it really bothers you that the line is drawn by that, it shouldn't, because I'm just attempting to show the RSI is increasing. Based on where price is currently at, you could draw it like this, and that's fine. The general point of what I'm trying to make in this chart, though, which is very valid, is the RSI is increasing, yet the price is decreasing. These bullish divergences do not need to play out in the most probabilistic direction, but the most probabilistic direction is a break to the upside, because what this is saying is momentum is decreasing, okay? There's seller exhaustion. So even though, think of it, even though the price is decreasing in value, there's not a lot of pressure behind that sell value. It's really the momentum behind that sell movement is decreasing, all right? And eventually, once we reach peak seller exhaustion, we're going to see, boom, a blast to the upside more than likely, okay? Not guaranteed, but more than likely. What else do we have here? So this is the Bitcoin 12-hour, and this is very unfortunate for bulls. What happens now is, you see this huge waterfall. Look at this waterfall movement in price, a temporarily blip up, okay? But then we've had a waterfall down. It'd be nice to see us get back up here and sustain some bullish upside in the coming week. Now, the reason that this chart is very disparaging to me, and it makes me feel sad as a bull, is because the reality is, look what was happening here. You know, I was tweeting about this pretty regularly. First off, we got above the 50 and went in between the 50 and 200, which I said was step one. Step two on the 12-hour was sustaining price movement above the 200. Okay, that was step two. Step three was to get a golden cross, which we never saw. But here's why this is very disparaging and frustrating to see as a bull, because finally, we got to a point where the 200 was flattening out, relatively speaking, and the 50 was curling up. I mean, we were making such good progress. So not only, you guys have to think outside the box, okay? When you look at a chart like this, there's really two reasons why this is not good on the 12-hour. It's not just that price action has decreased in value. That's not it. Now we're under the moving averages, and the moving averages, more importantly, are going to begin to curl down. So in order to make these moving averages curl back up, we're going to have to see some sustained price action to the upside. You know, guys, I got to tell you, I've been here, and I think this gentleman made this comment on, gentleman, it makes me sound so old. I think this dude made this comment before the FTX stuff, but we were, I don't know what it was in relation to, but he commented on one of my tweets that, thumbs up everyone, I don't see a lot of engagement. I would appreciate it. Drop me any TA questions as well. It just helps the channel out so I can continue doing this stuff. But anyway, the conversation was essentially that, you know, with whatever's going on in the market, you know, almost said it there, the beer virus was worse. And I said, actually, I disagree. The thing with the beer virus, and again, I've been here for I would call them three major corrections. I've been here for the 18-19 correction, I've been here for the beer virus correction, and now I've been here for this correction. The thing with the beer virus correction, it was very short-lived, okay? It was a lot of mass panic that people were going to turn into zombies and eat each other's brains out. But then it quickly subsided when Powell came in and printed $9 trillion, okay? So there's funny bunny money going everywhere. So everything recovered quickly. The reason why I would argue that this time has been much more frustrating than any correction that I've ever been through is because when we were down here and people were all salty, we finally had a massive push up. And look at this. We only got like 5% higher. We had our A, B correction here, and then we've had this massive C. Look at all this shit down. This is so long in time. And and the other thing is, now on top of it, market psychology, I called this consolidation. I still believe it was consolidation, very much consolidation, but now we've gone even lower. You want to talk about really weeding people out, the market psychology? We're really starting to weed people out right now because not only have we had a massive correction that has been in place since 2021, but now we've had sideways chippy chop, as I like to call it, for 5 months. For 5 months, this is all we've been doing. And there was some hope by the bulls, including myself, that we were beginning to build bullish momentum, and then fucktard comes in from FTX. I mean, it's all in the charts, but it was a little bit of a black swan event. Regardless, we finally started moving up in price. The moving averages are starting to kick up. We're looking for a golden cross, and then we get a massive dump. You want to talk about market at its most frustrating point? I will tell you this. If I was unable to read a chart, like if I did not have any technical analysis skills, I would imagine that I'd be feeling a lot more distraught than what I feel currently. The way I personally feel inside regarding the current market moves is disappointment and a little bit of feeling surprised that we did have this capitulation event, okay? Not shocked. I wouldn't say shocked because, as you know, I had two scenarios laid out, one of which is currently playing out at the moment. We'll have to see if it ends up being sort of a double bottom. But that's how I feel. But the way that I also feel is very convicted and grounded in logic. I feel very convicted that from a macro perspective, nothing has changed. So even though Bitcoin has moved down, okay, below its low from June, there's still other charts that are expressing a greater degree of strength. And with that being said, let's take a look at Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, what we don't like to see on the Ethereum chart is closing below this green band, which it looks like we're going to have happen, right? But for the moment, and the reason I say this is more bullish, look, there is still an uptrend on Ethereum. We have not gone below this low, okay? And we're going to hit on this on the Bitcoin dominance chart. But Ethereum, even though this is weakness, and I do not like that we've closed below this band, okay? Let's get rid of these blue lines. I think it's a little confusing having that in there. Let's get rid of that. It was valid at one point, but we're creating an uptrend still, okay? Bearish, we close below here. Bullish, we still have an uptrend. If we look at the Ethereum BTC, look, in traditional periods where, and I've continued to point this out, I've said to you guys, if the only thing you're looking at, okay, if the only thing you're looking at is the Bitcoin USD value or the Cardano USD value or the Ethereum USD value, you're losing out because there's many other charts that can give you a perspective in terms of how the market is performing to give you a holistic view of everything, okay? And this is one such chart. This is the Ethereum BTC relativity chart. Now, typically what happens is when we've entered massive bear markets, okay, real long bear markets like what you saw in 18 and 19, typically what happens is things are correcting, all coins are correcting a lot harder than Bitcoin, and you'll see the dominance, we'll talk to that, but let's talk about the relativities here. You'll look at Ethereum's price relationship to Bitcoin in terms of appreciation, right? Decreases and increases, right? And Ethereum's actually decreasing a lot harder than Bitcoin. And so if that's the case, if it's decreasing a lot harder than Bitcoin, you should see this relativity value go down. That's not what's been going on. I've continued to point out nothing has changed. We've continued to consolidate up here. I'm still waiting. I still am a firm believer based on what I'm looking at here. This is not my emotion. I'm just looking at the chart and telling you what I see. We're getting all this consolidation up here. I'm expecting a break up to challenge all-time highs up here for Ethereum BTC relativity, okay? Now let's get into Binance. You can see Binance, a lot of volatility, just like with the other crypto assets here. You can see we've completely re-entered this ascending triangle. Not good to see. We started getting a break. It was bullish when we retested this horizontal line here, okay, as support, but we've since bled through it, okay? Now, what you don't want to see, I'll tell you ultimately on Binance when you want to start getting super bearish, okay? Let's take this pattern off because I think it's a little bit distracting for the moment. This pattern for the moment has failed. It's re-entered it. Now, what I don't want to see, okay, you still see we have an uptrend, right? We can still come all the way down here, right? We could come down here, okay, to, I don't know, 200 flat, okay? I don't want to see us take out this low, and I missed saying that on Ethereum, but this low here is at 183. I don't want Binance to begin to make new all-time lows because what I want to keep inside my head is the fact, the idea, but the fact that there are still many altcoins, many bigger play altcoins, okay, like XRP, Cardano. I think Cardano, I'm not sure, I didn't pull up the chart. XRP, Binance, Ethereum. A lot of these projects are still creating higher lows, okay, and that's expressing a greater degree of strength relative to Bitcoin. And it still leads me into the direction that, as pessimistic as things feel right now, the charts are still pulling me in this way. This is one thing that's pulling me in this way that, man, there's still this mass fifth wave coming in, and altcoins are going to run a lot harder than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin still has this big wave. This is something that's still leading me towards that, okay? But let's continue building that case once we get into a few other charts. XRP, same thing. All we want to do, we just want to make sure we're not going below this low. This low is at... This low here, wow, it's at essentially 29 cents, and we are at 34 cents. The reason I said wow is because I said recently on a video, I think I made an XRP video, and I made a comment that I think we're out of the woods and we're never going to see price below 30 cents. Well, this was at 28.7 cents. So technically we could go down to 29.1 cents. We could see below 30 cents, but it would still be creating higher lows. Okay, that's mainly what we want to watch for on XRP. Matic, okay, this is not as bullish as I wanted to see, okay? And I'll explain why. Now, we're still massively bullish in the sense that, look, we still have higher lows, okay? So, and we moved up here. We created a high and another high. So we have 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows. So that is very bullish. So why is this not as bullish as I had hoped as a Matic holder, okay? I had tweeted out a while ago. By the way, check in the description. I am now a proud affiliate of Binance US. I have a referral link in the description. So it's the exchange I'm going to more and more and more as my everyday US exchange. I don't utilize Coinbase much whatsoever anymore. But anyway, I had tweeted out recently, a couple months ago, that sort of for my retirement fund, I'm purchasing, I'm not going to say what the dollar amount is, but I'm purchasing a daily amount of Bitcoin every single day, okay? That's getting locked away in my ledger. And I'm also purchasing a weekly Matic amount and staking it, and I'm not looking at that for years and years and years and years. That's just for a retirement account. But anyway, as a Matic holder, okay, in that spirit, now let me tell you what is bullish and then what's not bullish, okay? What is bullish is we've back-tested this descending, see this descending resistance here, and we finally broke up. We back-tested as support, guys. I tell you this all the time. You should know that if you're subscribed here. It's very bullish if we back-test as support and continue moving up. Now, what is not bullish? I wanted to stay above 105. Guys, we've been talking about 105 on Matic forever. We finally got above 105, pushed up towards 134. We hit like 131, 132. And since we've fallen back below 105, I want to see us get above 105, and I want to see us stay above 105. But, all not joking, but all criticism of the chart aside, the reality is Matic is one of the strongest charts in the space right now, if not the strongest. I don't know. I haven't actually sat down and looked at all the charts and asked myself which is the strongest chart, but there's no question that Matic is one of the strongest charts. Thumbs up, everybody. Appreciate everyone new tuning in. Matic is one of the strongest charts in the space. Now, I want to start to look at a few charts here and provide some commentary holistically on the entire market in terms of why, despite all of the nauseous price action and volatility, because guys, I hear you, no matter how unemotional I am with my investments, and no matter how logical I am with my TA, just as an actuary sort of analytical sort of person, there's no question that looking at all the day-to-day volatility is like, what is going on? Like, what in the hell is happening? I've just realized I've been talking probably for the past like 30, 40 minutes, and I haven't given myself a break. I'm going to have to go to some questions soon. So make sure you have some good TA questions, all right? All right, appreciate it. Appreciate you. All right, this is the total cryptocurrency market cap. I don't want to look at price indicators. I just want to focus on price. I just want to focus on the price because price is king, okay, as they say. This region here, you see this green region? This is a huge area of support from our prior blow-off top back in January of 2018, okay? Look what we've done. We've re-entered This, to me, arguably is a double bottom. So long as we don't start to get another weekly candle below here, this total cryptocurrency market cap right now has created a total double bottom in the green region that we want to find support. We're also in a massive falling wedge. A massive falling wedge. In fact, one of my buddies from... let me see here. We'll get back, guys, but it reminded me. Was it a 2 week? I forget. Bear with me, guys. We're all going to make it. Bear with me now. Maybe it was just the total market cryptocurrency market cap. I don't think it was. Maybe it wasn't Bitcoin. I probably shouldn't have diverted and started looking at this chart because now I forget what I was looking at. Anyway, the total. Ignore me. All right, this is why this shit's live. All right, sometimes I'm getting my thoughts out here. But this is the total cryptocurrency market cap, and as you can see, we are in a falling wedge here, and we've just back tested prior support, prior resistance as support, and we've since created a double bottom. I would argue this bottom there. This is just a double bottom for now. Now, if we start going lower, guys, this isn't a double bottom. If we start, this week comes in and we start coming down in this area, no, that's not a double bottom. That's a lower low, okay? And that would be more concerning to me. So I'll have to see how this week plays out. Total 3, guys. This is another double bottom, okay? So let's look at the RSI. Do we have any divergence? Yeah, guys. So I probably should have looked at this on the total cryptocurrency market cap. Guys, how many charts have I shared with you? If you follow me on Twitter at CryptoBullGod, how many charts have I shared with you where there's bullish divergence? I mean, come on, it's like a fucking joke. I know. Again, I know. And being someone, let me just tell you something. Being battle tested in this market, I've been here for several years. I get it. There is a lot of shit going on. And it's easy to get over emotional. I'm an emotional person in general. So it's challenging not to get emotional. The best thing that you can do to stay grounded in this market, you do your own homework. You stay grounded in the technicals to understand what the chart is saying to you. You also have a handful, just a handful, of other people's opinions whom you really respect and value in this space and their outlook and their view on things and why. Okay? That's going to help you to remain grounded. If you're reading the headlines and you're reading about massive orgy fests at FTX, I don't know if you don't fucking know what I'm talking about, go read up. I would hate to see those things. Good God, the people involved. I don't even think some of those people involved know how to have sex. I'm going to be honest with you. Like some of those people looking at them, I don't even think that they know what female genitalia is. I'm going to be straight with you. But anyway, a lot of shit going on. A lot of cray shit. But the reality is, if you feed into those emotions, people are tuning it off after these comments. They're like, I'm fucking out of this channel. If you feed into those emotions, okay? If you feed into those emotions, you're going to make very irrational decisions, right? You have to stay grounded. Why did I get into the space? Why do I believe in it? And has anything fundamentally changed about the space? No. Has anything fundamentally changed in the technicals? No. Okay, so just chill, relax, okay? It's funny because if you go back in time and you look at all of the historical horrible events that have occurred in crypto, okay? All these things have been weeded out, and the charts have just moved forward and spoken for themselves, okay? Bitcoin has died at least 24 times. I think 24 times, okay? This may be the 25th time that Bitcoin has died. Some ancient crypto analysts, like Peter Schiff, believe. So with that being said, again, we have bullish guys. We have the RSI increasing in value as the total cryptocurrency market cap has been going down. We have created a double bottom to date, okay? So we'll just have to watch how this continues to play out. Now, if we do fall, okay, let's level set the conversation. What happens if we fall below this green region? Well, it looks like a drop all the way down here to about $262 billion of market cap. That looks like for all of altcoins, that would be around another 16%, okay? Just something to keep an eye on. And that brings up another point. Like, guys, if we drop another 16%, or where do we drop in total market cap, whatever the case is, I would ask you the question: if you're under the idea and logical view that crypto is not going to zero, and there's a lot of awesome technology in this space, and there's a lot of things that'll play out over many years here, and things are going to appreciate a lot in value, and we're so early in this market, are we closer to the bottom than the top as an investor? Again, if you're looking to quit your job tomorrow and make $1 bazillion, this is not the channel for you. This is not the channel for you. You're not grounded in reality. You're in a rough spot and you're hoping to escape from it. Just fucking own up, and that shit's not going to happen. But if you're an investor and you're looking for opportune times to buy in when everyone's screaming that the zombie apocalypse is coming and Bitcoin is going to zero, probably right now is a great time to be buying. Just food for thought. So here are the other two things I wanted to. This is an awesome spot to end the live stream with before TA Q&A. It may actually be the most important part of the entire live stream. So with that being said, I want to see at least one more thumbs up, or I'm not continuing, because I only see half the amount of viewers as thumbs up. That really sucks. All right, so I will just stare at my screen, and I will wait for one more thumbs up to come in. Actually, if I did that as a channel, it would be annoying, but I would appreciate the support. I'm not going to do that. So anyway, this is actually perhaps, and I do mean this, I'm not joking around here, this is perhaps the most valuable portion of the live stream. Okay, so pay attention very closely to what I'm about to say and ask me any questions if you do have them. Okay, this is Bitcoin dominance. Any basic chartist, technical analyst would tell you anytime that we touch support and a third time touch support and touch support and touch support, what happens? It weakens. Okay, appreciate the thumbs up, guys. There's a lag between me talking and you doing things, but I appreciate it. It weakens. Now, I am on record, and I still believe this fifth touch that we've just had, we're not touching this fucking thing anymore and bouncing up. Whether we stay here we could stay here for a couple weeks. I'm not saying otherwise, but we're breaking. I am now in the firm camp. I am going on record right now and saying, but I've alluded to this, the Bitcoin dominance in the coming weeks will most likely, I can't give you certainties, I will never do that. Unsubscribe if I ever say to you, this is definitively what's going to happen. I will never do that. This, to me, is most probable of what's going to happen. We can consolidate here for a couple weeks, but we're breaking down and we're coming towards the all-time lows set in January of 18. Now, what typically happens when we have a massive breakdown in Bitcoin dominance? Yes, there's moves in between. Okay, someone provided valid commentary in a YouTube channel about this, and I'm not saying it wasn't valid, but just I felt like missing the point. In general, without getting caught up in all the little swings in the price on the way down, in general, when there's a big move down in Bitcoin dominance, what that typically has meant, okay, is that Bitcoin is appreciating in value. It's going up. The USD is going up, but altcoins are outpacing it. Bitcoin's up like 5%, 10%, whatever. Altcoins are up 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Okay, that's what leads to the dominance in Bitcoin as a percentage of the total market capitalization dropping. Now, the other thing to keep in mind that I've spoken to, this is the all-time low. There is no question in my mind that once we break this level here, we are coming down to retest this level. Now, if you were paying attention to anything I just said, what happens when you hit support multiple times? We hit it here and formed a support. We're hitting here and we're bouncing off of it. But I suspect while we will get a temporary bounce, and I've spoken to a relief up to prior support that is now resistance. We could see a bounce up there. When we come back down, we're going to break and we're going to create new all-time lows in the Bitcoin dominance. If we're creating new all-time lows, and this really is a bear flag, and we're going to like 22%, whatever I've drawn out here in dominance, what does that mean for the market. That means mass appreciation in value for everything, and all coins are going to be going nuts in relation to Bitcoin. So the fact that we finally have this playing out. There were two things I spoke to keep an eye on outside of the USD charts. It's crypto-specific charts. This was one of them, okay? Well, this is a crypto-specific chart. I shouldn't say that, but USD charts is what I'm trying to say. This is playing out. We just got our fifth touch. But yet there's this FUD going on, all this shit with the exchange, and now you have people on Twitter just being ass clowns and saying, oh, you need to take your money off, all these exchanges are going down, all this stuff. All right, I do agree you should put the majority of your holdings in cold storage. That's not what I'm not saying otherwise, but you have a lot of people coming out and tweeting things that they're just being moronic. But whatever the case is, there's a lot of fear out there. Okay, there's a lot of fear. And yet, all indications are, since we hit this level, if I'm correct in my assertion here, based on history, we're going to see a massive drop in Bitcoin dominance, which should result in mass appreciation in the market. Interesting. Well, let's go to another chart here. Dollar. Guys, we have been waiting for this forever. Forever. Okay? Seemingly. How many times have I come on here and said this is in a parabola? When it breaks, it's going to break down hard. We've broken the parabola. The DXY has topped out, guys. We're not going to see new all-time highs in the DXY for quite some time. This thing has topped out, okay? So we're seeing a massive drop in the DXY. Shit, the stock market's been recovering and going up. Bitcoin hasn't been. The crypto markets haven't been. Well, I have a question for you that I want you to really think about, okay? If I have been relentlessly hitting on this fucking chart and showing you factual information, showing you that when the DXY has dropped massively in value, the equity markets and cryptocurrency have appreciated massively in value because the DXY and assets hold an inverse relationship. The fact that this is dropping, shouldn't it tell you that more than likely, even if there's a lag in recognition right now, for whatever reason, if history is telling us we're getting our drop, we're going down, shouldn't crypto be going up? Well, it's not going up right now. So based on history, though, if this is dropping, shouldn't crypto be going up? Shouldn't we be looking for the cryptocurrency market to be appreciating in value? Don't miss the signs. The DXY is not going to plummet in value and crypto is going to go down in value. There isn't any one period in time that you could point me to, and I would challenge anyone in the comments, where the DXY has massively depreciated in value and cryptocurrencies have gone down. It's been the opposite. It's been an inverse relationship. So I understand that right now things look bleak, but there are other charts. The Ethereum Bitcoin relativity chart, the double bottom on both these total cryptocurrency market value charts, the Bitcoin dominance chart, the DXY chart, that are all leading us to say, yeah, but we should be seeing this happening, and it hasn't been happening yet. Well, let's remain patient. Let's allow the charts to play out, because we've had several days of negative volatility. But the week is not over. We're starting a new week. The month is not over. The year's not over. Let's allow the prices to play out. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Just because the probabilities based on a weekly chart or a 3-day chart, whatever the chart is, have increased to see price to the downside doesn't mean we're going to see massive price to the downside and Bitcoin's going to $5,000. It doesn't make any sense based on these other charts that I'm looking at. It doesn't make any sense, okay? So let's just remain patient. Yes, Neffy, JP, thank you. Yes, we just have to remain patient. Again, I think the people that will most lose out in this market are the emotional people and the people that just look at a Bitcoin chart and see it going down. They're not looking at this chart, 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 this chart. They're not looking at all these other charts, right? They're not as well versed and educated. This is what I'm attempting to do. I'm attempting to help everyone out And the examination that I do on the market and the things that I'm looking at and thinking to myself, the only difference between that and now is instead of keeping this information to myself, I'm just sharing it aloud with everyone. I'm just sharing the information with you, and make of it what you will. All right, so with that being said, like I said, this was going to be a little quicker, although we're still 46 minutes into the live stream. I will chart a few crypto projects out. Is there anything, man, everything is on a fucking discount right now. Wow. Is there anything that you guys would like me to chart out? Any TA questions? Is there anything I spoke to that didn't make sense? Is there anything you wanted me to take a look at you? You could have asked me about this 3 or 4 days ago. It's fine. I'm happy to reassess any charts since we're getting a weekly close here. And like I said, now I did want to make you guys aware, by the way, today is Sunday. On Friday, I'm going to be traveling. And I will be gone for a little over a week, like a Friday through Sunday. I'm getting back super late on the Sunday. So during that, I am taking my laptop with me where I'm going, but I will try to put out a couple videos. I'll try my best. The thing is, I have to make sure I have all the right software on my laptop, and I was running into issues the last time I traveled, and I couldn't put out the content in the same fashion. So I'll do the best I can. I'll try and put out content, but just keep in mind, like in particular, like Thanksgiving week. Really, Thanksgiving week, it's gonna be a little bit more of a challenge to put out content. But after that, when I get back, I'll get back late Sunday night after Thanksgiving. I'll be back to the normal schedule. So just want to make you aware. All right, let's take John, the Enforcer. Good to see you in here, buddy. The thumbs up, Enforcer. I like to see you in here. Algorand. I was looking at that recently. So there's a few questions that came in. Thank you. Let's actually read some comments here. Steady. Fear and greed index is not that low. I think retail and casual investors are gone. Yeah, I got to tell you, and to be honest, like, let's just put charts aside for a second. Look, just looking at the events that have unfolded this week, and we still have a lot to learn about what's actually happened. As an institutional investor, or as someone who is getting into this market and seeing it for something that it was not, and trying to be greedy. I mean, there's a lot that has transpired this week that would give a lot of pause to a lot of people. I mean, those are the facts, you know. And we can point fingers at the exchange, we can point fingers at the SEC. There's a lot of things going around right now, but the bottom line is it's not a good look for crypto. People that wanted to paint crypto with a broad brush of degenerates who were trying to overthrow the traditional financial system or whatever the stereotype that's out there. I say we as a community with what's happened. I mean, obviously nobody here is an SBF, but we have done a great job of living up to that at the moment. Although I would say that the thing that's often missed with something like this is the fact that what has transpired with the crypto exchange FTX, based on what I'm reading, how is it any different than a lot of the avarice which took place in traditional financial markets, right? And they got bailed out. So I don't know how it's any really, it's different. Believe me, it's different from what I've been reading, but similar sort of idea, right? So, but people are going to paint us with a broad brush because that's just what they do. You know, it's unfortunate. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. You are the enforcer. So we're going to look at a few charts here. We're going to take a look. Hold on a second. Let's take a look at. Let's see. Let me try and close some of these charts out. Close this out. All right. Perfect. So let's open up Chili's. Anybody going to Chili's for dinner tonight? By the way, I got to tell you guys, it's dark out now. The weather, I know I have a lot of people who tune in from outside the United States, which is awesome. So I'm in South Florida, and the weather today in particular, it's been a little stormy here this week, but today, Sunny skies. It's been beautiful outside. You know, it's days like today where, like, I look at my current day job and I'm like, really? I'm stuck behind a computer all day looking at numbers. Like, it's just so beautiful outside. I just want to be outside all day, you know? Who knows? Maybe I'll take on a second career choice. Retire from the actuary thing and be a landscaper. Be outside all day working in a blue-collar job. All right, Chili's. Guys, this is one of the most bullish charts out there. This is from me drawing. Let's just focus on the weekly price. Let's look at indicators here. We got above MACD got above 0, which is great. RSI is at a neutral spot, which is good. Stochastic RSI is above 20, which is good. It's starting to get a negative cross, but nothing super concerning. Guys, this yellow box, this is the yellow box I said would be advantageous in my educated view to buy in at. Look what we did. Now, we hit it here, and now we wicked in it. This was your opportunity to buy, okay? So, right now, who asked this question? Neffy, good question. So, right now, when I'm looking at this chart, what I see, let's zoom out here. Let's just stay on the weekly. Let's not overdo it here. We're in a broadening wedge. Draw this like this. Yeah, I don't want to go through the candle body. We're in a broadening wedge. It's a little more narrow here, and then it widens up here, okay? We might continue to get support right in this region. I'd be surprised to see it break this region in here. Broadening wedges are bullish. They tend to break to the upside. So what I could see for Chili's right now, Chili's is one of the more bullish charts in crypto right now. There's no question. You know, I kept debating if I wanted to buy Chili's, and I still have not bought any, but it's on my, I would say, I'm trying to think, any projects that I have not bought into that I've wanted to get into, I think this might be the only one. This is the only one I haven't gotten into that I wanted to get into. But look, it presented me and everyone else with a great buying opportunity. Now, obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. This ascending line isn't the most important thing. We have a low here, and we also have a broadening wedge formation, right? So we could even come down to here. I don't see that happening, though. I see us relatively staying in this region between roughly 13 cents and 16 cents. Guys, never financial advice, but if Chili's comes back anywhere in between 16 and 13 cents, I view it as an epic buying opportunity. And if we get in that region again, that is going to be my next buy. I have not bought into this, and I want to get some exposure to it. But anyway, this is a broadening wedge. So typically what happens with these patterns, if they do break out, which it has the highest probability to break out, when they break out, again, whenever you see a pattern break out, they like to come down and fake people out that don't know what they're looking at. They backtest prior resistance. See the resistance? What it does is it backtests the resistance as support and then continues to move up. So there's a couple ways you can play this. You could enter a little bit of a position now, okay, or wait for this box. You could also wait for the breakout, the confirmation, wait for the breakout, and then wait for it to backtest this area or relatively close to it and then continue up. This has been an extremely strong performer. I hope that was helpful. I was reading about that, Neffy, and that's why I have fan tokens. Okay, so to your point, there's some fan tokens I'm keeping an eye on. These are the fan tokens I would have the ability to purchase through Binance US. So these are the 4 I'm looking at. Okay, but point well taken. I was reading up on that as well. Next chart we're going to take a look at. I don't think... This is Kusama, right? I don't think I have a chart for that. Wow. Talk about a messy chart. All right. KSM. How about Binance? How's that looking? Ooh. Is this all the price data? Now, does anybody have a recommended exchange? Because oftentimes when I chart these things, what frustrates me is when I don't get an exchange that has all the price data. That really pisses me off because then it's sort of like charting blindly. Okay, this looks like, okay, so I have it up on KuCoin. Please, anyone in the comments box, correct me if I'm wrong, if I don't have all the price data, but this is on Kusama. So this one, it looks like I've charted before. Yeah, we were in a falling wedge here, and that did not, it's a great example. The pattern didn't pan out, you know? Chalk it up to whatever you want, but the fact is there's a higher probability that the pattern plays out, and it went to the lower probability. That happens. Think of sports, right? For anyone here watching sports, think about it. When you had, way back in the day, when you had the New England Patriots playing, you know, when they were at their prime with Tom Brady, you had the New England Patriots going against like the fucking Cleveland Browns, right? Who are always horrible. All right, probability was Patriots have like a 95% chance to win the game. But there are things called upsets, okay? So the Browns pull out an upset victory, 5% probability. That's why probabilities exist. Nothing's 100%, right? So this was a falling wedge, and it didn't pan out to the most probabilistic direction, which was to the upside. It fell to the downside. It's the same thing as in sports. It's the same fucking thing, all right? So with Kusama, this is a project that is touted by a channel I used to be subscribed to since 2018 and have since unsubscribed to. For reasons that I've alluded to somewhat on this channel. I have a main area of support at, we're going to call this, what should we call it? We'll say $23, okay? $23. Now, keep in mind it's a region, right? You can see, how did I come up with that? Well, we broke through and came back and back tested this area right in here, all right? So this is a region of support. Now, if this falls, where could I see it falling next? This is a parabolic run. I mean, keeping things straight with you guys, it would not be good if that broke, because I see a region right there at about 950. And there's a couple regions, but there's a lot of confluence at 950. You really want that 23 region to hold. So let's see what else we got. I'll say as low as here. So there's a couple regions, and again, take these exact price dollars with a grain of salt, because it's really about a region of support. So for example, you know, the next region, if we break around $23, what do I see? 1763. I mean, come on, guys, $17, $18. That's what I'm saying, all right? Don't let anyone on a YouTube channel or Twitter fool you. If someone's telling you a region of support is at $17.63, yeah, fuck off. $17.63. It's the same thing as saying $17, $18, all right? It's the same damn thing. So we got $17.63, we got $13.50, and we got $9.50, all right? Those are the areas of support that I see. So you really want to see $23 hold, all right? Because there is a cluster. The thing is, there is a cluster of support here. And the problem is, if that breaks, yeah, there's a little support here. There's a little support here. There is a decent amount of support down here at 950. So you really want to see $23 hold. Now, what else is playing out? Let's see. As is typical with a lot of these charts, is there bullish divergence? Let's see. Actually, I don't think. Nope. Let's see on the smaller time frame. Oh, there still is on the smaller. Okay, so not on the weekly. So Kusama still has some bullish divergence playing out. Okay? As you can see, the RSI is increasing in value, but yet the price is going down. So that is good to see. That is consistent with the rest of the market. So that is good to see. What else would I say? Last thing to be helpful with Kusama, if we start, you can see I have to make this resistance now. Guys, if we start to bounce, these are all the areas of resistance on top of the descending resistance, okay? You can see that. See that resistance right in here. So you can see I have about $33.37. I have $44.70, I have $57.30, and $66.32. So right in those areas here is where I would see resistance on top of the descending line. That's what I see on Kusama. Really want this $23 to hold. And again, Neffy, appreciate the question. It's not about specific dollar amount of $23. It's around $22, $23, right? $22, $23. I think there was one other question. Algorand, of course. John asked this question, so there's no question. no question, that I'm going to share that with him. John, I think I looked at this on the last live stream. I don't think you were there. I don't think you've been there. You were there for the last live stream. But you might have been there, actually. No, it wasn't on the last live stream. It was 2 live streams ago. I talked about Algorand, and I talked about this. Look at this level here. This is sort of comical. I mean, it's 25 cents, all right? 25, 26 cents. Guys, look what we did, okay? I did not talk about this until I spoke to this last week on Monday. We did the Bitcoin Crypto Weekly Close on Monday instead of Sunday, and I talked about this chart. And I said, watch for this 25 cent region to hit. Look where we hit, 25.12 cents, okay? We want 25 cents to hold. If it doesn't hold, let's look at where we have other support. Well, this is an obvious area. This is 20 cents, so we could go 25% lower. Right about there. 17, 18 cents. So let's just stop there. Let's just keep it there for the moment. But John, what you want to look for is ultimately I want 25 cents to hold. If 25 doesn't, we could go 25% lower. We could go all the way down to 20 cents. Okay. And then 17, 18 cents. And then let's look at some rather obvious resistance. I would put it right. Don't have to get so cute. We got some resistance at 44 cents. So honestly, John, I wouldn't overcomplicate this chart. If I were in your shoes invested in this, I don't have any Algorand, but if I was, here's what I'd be looking at. All right, John, I would look at this and I'd say 25 cents needs to hold. If 25 doesn't hold, we could be seeing 20 or 17 or 18 cents. If it does hold, the main area I'm concerned with is around 44 cents, 44, 45. I want to see that break. Once we start breaking 44 to 45 cents, let's have a conversation because I have about 67, 68 cents up here, right? But let's get above 44 cents, 44, 45, right? Hope that was helpful. Any other questions? I'll take one more chart if there's a question. If not, we're going to, an hour. We've been on for a little over an hour now. I think that's a good amount of time. So, yeah, if there's no more questions, I can close things out and then have a couple ideas for a few videos this week. Yeah, I got to write some more down, but I have a few ideas for a few videos this week. I'm going to get that Bitcoin additional video out. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Hang in there. I know it's a rough environment right now, but the best thing you can do for yourself so that you don't make any bad decisions, remain unemotional and remain logical. No matter how fearful the environment is, ask yourself. It's the most important thing you can do. Ask yourself, has there been anything that has changed fundamentally or technically within the charts? And if the answer to those questions are no, let's not get fearful, okay? So until next time, everybody, I appreciate it. Spread awareness and carry the education forward. All right. Take care, everybody.